Hello viewer. This is an act of penance, an act of trying to, well, just going through something really big, stupid and insane, and I decided the best way to do the penance would be go through the most annoyingly difficult, asshole, unfair, but still yet also brutishly honest about its unfairness game series, Dark Souls. And of course I will be starting with a Dark Souls 1, and I have not using the most optimal starting way of characters, as in that I have done some practice about this, but actually quite lots of it, so I do know quite much of the start and how Mr. Hidetaka Miyazaki thinks, but it's time to start a new character with my own alias and get going. A pyromancer starts to now become undead. It's time to start. With a cutscene, of course.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons.
Oh.
But then there was fire. And with fire came disparity.
That's some kind of creation myth.
Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame.
That might mean some sort of burn of civilization and all the bad things that come with it.
Nito, the first of the dead.
At least, I think some mythologies say that the first one who died has some sort of meaning.
Witch of Izalith and her daughters of chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight.
He's the top god, or top character, I do know that. It's very important.
And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten.
Yes, indeed, they are forgotten. Very easily. Small.
With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons.
So it became an act of,
Gwyn's mighty bullets.
well, something like a younger god fighting against titans.
Witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath, the Scaleless, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more.
Yeah.
Thus began the Age of Fire.
That location looks a lot like Ringed City of Dark Souls 3. Yes, I have played that game.
Only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Yes, of course, the Ring of Fire. The One Ring. where we got some kind of creation myth, and now of course it tells you about what kind of object, something about it, and this place is bleak.
Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
Which is probably a very bleak thing to do. And probably the ones who do that are also undead by themselves. And there I am,
is your fate.
rotting in a jail cell. Just because I happen to be undead, I rot in here. Being a badass fuck ugly zombie. And this night fellow dumped a corpse in here. Not a living undead, just, or say, not a walking dead, just dead. And key. Great. I have my clothes. I have a short stubby sword. I know magic. And I have lots of unpent aggression, just a tutorialize. And I kick that thing and I just mutilate it. And that one's a big and ugly fucker. And dangerous. That's foreshadowing. If anything, showing that yeah, there are big and dangerous ugly things in this game. And they all want to murder you, unlike these which you want to murder, or they not want to do murder. But hey, there's no point in not taking the key to the cell when you can leave it. Let's start light the first bonfire. They are very important, not only in this game but the whole series. And from there you can't go. Yes, I do. I have played through this part of the game, the more or less the tutorial part. And more to go. Oops, and a big demon showed up again. But I'm not gonna start fighting him now with just this stubby, useless mockery of a weapon called, well, whatever. That's my shield. And now I must It is not a full blocking shield, as in to say in this game some weapons shields block less than full amount of damage, and now I have my weapon as well. An old-fashioned axe. Woodcutter's axe. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks just a regular tool axe. And you are not gonna shoot me with that arrow. I'm gonna chop you off with an axe. Yep. That's hostile. And I know I'm here. And left. There's no way to get that thing right now, so I'm not gonna even try it anymore. Try it, get it. There's a knight. He looks bad. And there's a big rock. And somebody shoved it through me. That's it, whoever you are up there, I'm gonna go and come and chop you up. Like this. Backstab. Dead. And it usually appears that when you backstab the enemy you get a bit of extra souls or experience. But let's have a chat with this guy.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Alright.
I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask, an undead favorite. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
Yeah, that guy was doing some sort of big, important task, but he died or gave up for whatever reason. But how in hell did he manage to get into this room, which has only one exit way to get inside, and that was through this hole in the wall? What? And he seemed to kill, and he seemed to die. Yeah, those things do happen in this game. People die. Open the door, and more of these messages. They are handy. And a pyromancy flame. This is a spell catalyst, meaning that with this object spells are cast. Yup. Double kill with an axe. Stop shooting. Those arrows are very slow moving, which means they are not so dangerous, but they're bloody annoying. And you die just because I want you to die. And there's a bit more scarier looking guy, but not that scary that you can't just chop him up with an axe. Dead. And now time to go and face the asylum demon with my own terms, with a drop to head. And give him some. Yeah, that's a. Oh shit. It's big, it's slow, but it's also quite dangerous, and my shield doesn't block all damage, but luckily my fire magic turns that thing up. If it would not just charge this magic so fucking long, I could scorch you to hell like this. Big Pilgrim's Key. I got it. And humanity. And be wary of fall. But that message actually does not apply now. Yeah, nice place. Very bleak but beautiful. And this place also is quite important. And here you can just leave items, and those happy things change them to something else. Quite handy. But of course you can only exchange object once, and not all of them, not every object.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen.
Crow. That was either a crow or raven.
To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
And that is the place where this game happens. Undead Asylum is in some weird ass place, nobody knows, and this is Lordran, land of ancient lords. And the more cool parts in that the structure of the Dark Souls games is about, and in storytelling wise, is that it's not just very little of explanation of any kind. You are given small tidbits of information and knowledge and all that kind of stuff, but you are not actually told of what they're meaning, what they lead to, and it gives you lots of space to interpret. But let's have a chat with this glum-looking fellow.
You must be a new arrival. Let me guess, fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first, but there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are actually 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other
somewhere around
far below, in the ruins
around
at the
there.
base of Blighttown.
And Blighttown is a
And something
ass place. It's a one completely horrifying place, and
but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
oh well, when everything is a shithole, you just wanna not to get actually so horrifying. And a firekeeper, they don't talk. What's her actual meaning? Well, she doesn't tell you, for she doesn't talk. She just lies there. But yeah, let's just go. But I might not go and check out how deep I can go. Before anything else weird happens. And of course the lift. With that switch you can call it back. And also an organic battery, which I am a great foe, and soul of nameless soldier. Those things contain souls, meaning you find them, use them, you get more experience and more things to be horrifyingly violent towards. They just stand there doing nothing, being completely depressed and not inactive. So it's just smarter to just go and kill them, and it's locked. That way leads to much later part of the game, but what you, of course, you being this kind of game, it's possible for you to go there right away and get yourself eaten alive by big monstrosities and some other guy.
Well, this is unusual. You haven't lost your head. And more importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well, I shouldn't cry. I'm Rickett of Vinheim. I was once an established smith, perhaps. Look at me now. Can you believe it?
Well, yeah, I can believe you. You're just a guy in a jail cell.
What is it? Have you? Oh no. Don't worry. I've no intention of escaping. It's safe here. I can't bear the thought of going hollow out there. Although, I must admit, not much to occupy myself. How about this? I could forge your weapons, albeit with rather minimal tools. I'll show you what may be the best in Vinheim.
So this guy, from him you can buy some magic, catalyst and stuff and handy stuff, and of course he can also fix your stuff. Well, I'm not gonna do any purchases from him right now, mostly because there's no need to. At least right away. And one more of these depressed loonies, time to chop him up. More of these. Persons who are very unwilling to do anything, so they're in misery. Let's make sure they get out of it with a horrifying act of wanton violence and murder. Yeah, I guess when you do, if you do get a backstab kill or critical kill or whatever you want to call it, you get extra souls. But yeah, that's about 20% increase, which actually is quite a lot. But I don't remember, does it apply to every possible foe you might face, or just some of them, like these weird ass Cripplos, or whatever you want to call these things. Really grim folks. Hey! And of course you can also kick enemies to shove them around. It's not the most efficient way of doing things, but hey, transient curse. And that place leads to, well, it's a place where you do want to go, but not right now, as you need some kind of transient curse to be able to fight against the ghosts in there. Without them you can't block them, and you can't hurt them anyway. You can't use your magic to hurt them either. Meaning it's very dangerous place to go right now. But so yeah. So without Master Key, there's only actually one direction to go, which is towards the Undead Burg. Or better say Undead Church in the Undead Burg. What's it, parish or whatever. So I'm just to give a bit rest in here, just in case there is no punishment for using those to rest. So there's no point in avoiding them either. Actually, I would find it just really stupid and bragging rights if you just try to not use them. Firebombs, those are useful things. Actually, they are very useful things. And there's a dude.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Thoroland. Have you business with us? If not, I prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
Yeah, he's got a big bulky armor.
I realize that I have requested, but I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this as a token of peace. No, good.
Oh, coin. I don't know what the purpose. Yeah, I am a pest.
I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
Join covenant. Abandon former covenant. Well, I don't belong to any. But now I do.
Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
And now I learn a gesture of shrugging. I don't know how. And this guy sells very expensive stuff.
My companions are Milady and her young knights. She is young. We are her defenses.
So you are some kind of bodyguards when yeah. Alright. I'm not gonna start chopping you up. Although I might on later date. Why? Well, just because. Hell, in this game many things are here just because, so yeah. And this is now just a death pit, but later it is a bit of a shortcut to handy things forward. Ah, damn it. Oh yeah, I'm exploring this place as much as I can, just because, hey, exploration is the key in this kind of games. You are to be curious and you are to be check around things to see what is there and all that kind of stuff, because there might be something really goodies in there. And chests. Time to get some loot, cracked red eye orbs, Morning Star and Talisman, although I don't think I can use the Morning Star right now. Homeward Bones, with those are actually quite handy. And Lloyd's Talismans, which are not so handy. And a slope back, and goddamn skeletons awake. And unlike in many other games, skeletons in this game are absolutely horrifying. They are merciless, they're fast, and well, they are very dangerous. And especially in this part of the game, they are extra very dangerous. And they are relentless, they don't give up. Well, of course, expecting that they are very, very, very stereotypical undead. Not giving up is to be expected. But luckily you can quite easily cause them some damage with fire and chop them and crack them up. Although that was not so pleasant. Yeah, that's a hint that no, yeah, that's a place, don't go there. Not right now. And that's actually very, of course, if you are stubborn and skilled enough, you can go there and get further that way, but it's not the most, you could say, most reasonable thing to do, rational thing to do. And of course the character creation at the beginning was quite useless, because this guy still looks like a horrifying ugly zombie monster. And more of these mindless undead. But 3 chops with an axe is enough to put them down. Or good old-fashioned smack to the back, and from these I don't get extra 20% of experience. Oops. And carving you up, drinking some Estus water. What is this Estus? It's some sort of essence of undeadity. Yeah, and my spells, they take a long time to wind up, but once they do hit like a mule. Actually, they kick like a mule. And that, which means they just burn to crisps. But Pyromancy's problem is that it has short range. Even the long range spells of Pyromancy are short ranged ones. But at least in the beginning of this game, not many things endure fire well or at all. So it's time to jump here. Yes, this Dark Souls also has some platforming, not much, and it's quite and it usually isn't. It's quite tolerable, meaning that there's no moving platforms that you have to jump from to another progressing while being shot at by 20,000 monstrosities. No, there's nothing like that. This is another platforming game. This is a bloody horrifying, painful slug towards abstract goal you don't know about for reasons which are very vague. And that's a big rat. And I'm burning it up just because I can. And I want to. And yes, once you use the bonfire or that leads to complete enemy respawnings. Oh, actually not so complete. There are actually quite lots of enemy encounters, not just bosses, but generally that, well, you can encounter enemies which are not there for, which are there only for one encounter, meaning that once you kill them, they remain dead. They usually are very strong and got something important things or pathways or passages or provide me to get some extra stuff. And yeah, I do hate all kinds of furnishings and I wish to destroy them with my body, tackling them death. And there's some nice loot hidden by these barrels and stuff. More of these undead soul thingies. And this is a dead end part. Drink some more Estus. Come on, stop waving that sharp metal piece around. It's not friendly. Oh. But nice horizontal slash should do them in just fine. They die. That's the very purpose of undeadery. And this was an old-fashioned ambush. Yes, this game has lots of them. You must either know by beforehand or then you're just gonna have to be extremely paranoid and keep around. Watch your surroundings all the time, and in this game it is a very good advice. Keep your eyes open all the time, not just for loot and goodies, but I'm gonna say loot and goodies are the same thing, but because of for the enemies. You don't want to get surprised by a number, and in this Dark Souls especially, and in Dark Souls 2 and 3 as well, and the Dark Souls in with gothic horror theme, Bloodborne, fighting against one enemy is, well, if you are patient enough, you can practically kill any enemy in one-on-one. Oh, and that was a big one. That's also foreshadowing. But once you get more than one enemy, you are in big trouble. It gets very difficult and dangerous very fast. And at least in Dark Souls 1, where the damage output isn't so huge, which is to say you can use tanking tactics in this game, which later was made quite ineffective. I don't know why they made it so that, hey, whatever these fine heavy blade armors are useless in practical sense. I don't know what kind of foolery made them think. And wooden shield. And it's a bit heavier than what I had, but it protects me even better, so it's better. And you are not gonna shoot me at all with that crossbow of yours, so I'm gonna chop you up to little bits. Just because, hey, I can. And here's more of these kind of dudes. Oh. Yep, ugly fuckers wearing. Well, it's time to kick them and carve them up with an axe. And they carried the Titanite shard. Titanite shards are very important. You upgrade your equipment with them, and upgraded equipment means better chances to cut stuff up. Like bad guys. Oh, let's have a chat with this thing.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
And an insane, ugly, vicious laughter. Let's just see what kind of handy stuff he has. Bottomless box, very necessary. Residence keys, also necessary. Repair box, necessary. All of that stuff is necessary, which means not only do you use your souls to level up yourself and upgrade your armor, you have to buy some very essential items of this game. What the hell is that? Some sort of weird graphical trickery. I don't know what is that, but I couldn't interact it. And more of those things, but let's just use some old-fashioned, lovely, friendly method of killing it with fire. Fire kills everything. Age of Fire is at ending, so of course that means everything is burning to death. It's time to kill stuff. Being very efficient in it. It's horrible, but quick and efficient. And some throwing knives, auxiliary weapons, or however you wanna call it. And yep, jump to here. Break some more unnecessary furniture. And yeah, there's treasure ahead, light, crossbow and thunderbolts. That could sound, better say that would sound very good find. Except that in this game, it was fixed in later Dark Souls games. Crossbow is quite useless thing. You can shoot it just so short range. It practically becomes. It's practically just a bad joke that you have to use. And there's some ugly bastards bombing. And there's no way here, but the ladder up there tells that something is afoot. So it's time to light this bonfire. And actually I am going to continue next time. And I'll see you then. This is gonna be a combination of awful yet also great. And I'll see you then. See ya.